So if you like the look of the Sony VX2000 or 2100, but you just need a little bit better audio capabilities, well, then I might have the perfect camera here for you today. Hey there, welcome back to my camera collection. In today's video, we're going to be checking out the Sony DCR-PD170. We'll be looking at some of the specs on this camera, then we'll go around and check out the physical features on it. I'll give you some of my opinions on it, and at the end of the video, we'll look at some of the test footage that comes out of this guy. So with that being said, let's get into today's video. So a little backstory on this camera. I got this from Mercari, if you've heard of Mercari. It's similar to eBay, sort of. In my experience, I usually find a lot better deals and cheaper cameras on Mercari than I do on eBay. A lot of people kind of upscale their prices on eBay over Mercari. So the guy who sold me this definitely didn't know what he was selling and sold a whole bunch of different accessories with it and this whole camera. The guy says that there was no image when he went to perform playback on it, and I knew exactly what that meant. That just means you have dirty tape heads. So I got it, I cleaned the tape heads on it, and it works flawless now. But yeah, it came with a Sony wide angle lens that is like a 0.7x wide angle. It's not super wide, but if you're in a room that's small like my little studio here and you just can't get zoomed out far enough, you can screw that guy on. It'll widen it just a little bit, but it doesn't distort it to where it gives it that kind of fisheye distortion on the sides. It came with like the original charger, and it all came with like their own bags. It came with the original charger, battery, the XLR mic. It didn't come with a windsock or anything like that. And actually, just before I started recording this video, I put this huge dead cat on here, and it actually, the one that I bought actually has a foam piece, and then you can slide this dead cat over the foam piece as well. If you don't want to run the fuzzy dead cat, you don't have to. You can just have the foam piece on there. But I figured it really needed some form of wind protection, if you will. It came with like a little wired remote, so you can adjust the zoom on it. You can record and all that kind of stuff on it. It plugs into your LANC, the 2.5mm jack for that. Came with the original manual and the original remote. I think that might be everything that it came with. But yeah, it came with a lot of accessories. So great camera. I got it for a really good price, and it will be for sale for you guys to purchase if you want to get this camera for yourself. It also has, let's see, when I first got it, it had, you can check the hours, how long this is recorded for on its lifetime in the settings. And when I got it, it said 1 day and 10 hours for the hours that it's ran for. So this camera is practically brand new. I mean, it really has only ran, it hasn't even ran 48 hours for it. So it's just brand new pretty much. Let's go around and talk about the specs on this guy. We won't look at all of them, but we'll find some of the ones that are interesting and I find useful. So this camera is from 2005 and it records to mini DV tapes, and the original price for it was $3,940, so probably after tax, and if you bought it online somewhere back in 2005, it probably would have came out to closer to about $4,000. It has 3 1/3 inch CCD sensors in it. So yeah, it does have Sony's great 3 CCD sensor system in it. And this was kind of towards the end of the 3 CCD sensor era. After this, they started going to CMOS sensors, and like three CMOS sensors, like the Sony FX7 had in it. But each CCD sensor on it creates 380,000 pixels. So combining the pixels on all 3 CCD sensors, you get 1,140,000 pixels in the entire sensor system. So you got quite a bit of pixels it creates. Now, one downside to it is it does have a black and white viewfinder, and come on, you're paying $4,000, and for 2005, this thing should not have a black and white viewfinder. That's just ridiculous. I honestly don't know why they put a black and white viewfinder on it, because if you look at the VX2000 or the 2100, they have colored viewfinders. So why they put a black and white one on this, I don't know. But the viewfinder has 180,000 pixels on it, so it is less than the screen, but at least the screen has better pixels on it than the viewfinder does, because the screen is a 2.5 inch LCD screen and it creates 211,000 pixels. So in my experience using this, it has actually a really good image on the screen. It's not super pixelated, and it just looks really good. It's actually a really nice screen for how small it actually is. The minimum shutter speed is 1 in 4, or a fourth, and the maximum shutter speed is 1 in 10,000, so your shutter speed can go up pretty high on this guy. And you can manually adjust the focus, the white balance, the exposure, the iris, and the shutter speed on this guy. So lots of manual functions for it, as it should be, because it's considered, I think this is considered a professional camera. It's got XLR on it, so I assume it's professional. And you can adjust the electronic gain all the way up to 18 decibels. And when you record in the DV cam mode, so you can record in the DV mode or the DV cam mode. DV mode will record in 30p, and if you record in the DV cam mode, it will record in 60i. So 60i is just slightly lower resolution than 60p. I stands for interlaced and P stands for progressive. So progressive frames are just a little bit better looking than interlaced. So I still think interlaced footage looks decent. Another great thing on it, just like the VX2000 that I reviewed, or a VX2100, is it does have a 2-step ND filter on it. So you got a 1 and a 2. The camera will actually tell you if you need to switch it to a 1 or a 2, or if you have them on and you're in a darker space, it'll tell you to turn it off, so that way the exposure is correct. You can also choose between 12 and 16-bit audio. And with your audio, you have 2 XLR ports on this, so if you want to do some form of interviews or documentaries or something like that, you can hook up 2 mics to it and you'll have 2 lines coming into the camera. So that's super nice if you want a camera for documentary style filming. But the mic is actually, or I guess the XLR system is powered by 48 volt DC phantom power. So I think that's pretty much, I don't know a lot about XLR audio, but I think all XLR audio is phantom power. I don't know. If there's any audio gurus out there, let me know if I'm wrong in the comments, because to be honest, this is the first camera I've messed with that actually has XLR, so bear with me. But yeah, that's just some of the specs on this camera. Lots of manual and professional style functions on it, but we'll go around and look at the physical features on it. So let's start at the front. One other thing that I forgot to mention is this actually came with 2 different lens hoods. You got this one that is kind of more rubbery, kind of reminds me of the one that came on the Sony VX2000 that I reviewed. The other one is big and bulky, and it's more of a harder plastic, but you can take it apart and have different lens hoods for it. So that's actually kind of nice for it. So if you want it kind of boxy like this, you can have it, or you can kind of undo it and it's kind of more of a cone shape, if that makes sense. And then it came with the original lens cap as well. But I like this one a little bit more. It feels a little bit more durable, and it's rubbery on the sides, and it's not gonna break if you bump it into something, or if you're filming skateboarding or something and a skateboard hits the lens or something, you're not gonna break the lens hood on it. So a little bit more durable feeling. But this one's pretty cool. It reminds me of the one that is on the Sony FX7, because it has this little tab right here, and you can flip it, and then it opens the lens, kind of opens it up, and then you can close it. You don't have to run a lens cap for it. It already has just kind of like the shades, blinds, I guess, I don't know. But this one I found kind of odd, because the screw to undo it is on the bottom, and all the other ones I've ever seen are always on the right side. So you just undo it from the bottom, and then you can twist it, and now your lens hood is off. This guy also has a 58mm lens thread diameter on it. So if you want to run any kind of fisheye, wide angle, or filter for it, that's the size that you would need. These cameras are great for filming skateboarding. So Optica and probably other companies out there, you can find 58mm fisheye lenses for them. They hook up to these nice and easy, and the Optica fisheyes are actually relatively cheap for a lens for a camera. So I'll leave a link to the Optica 0.3x fisheye in the description below if you want to snag one of those for yourself. It also has a 12 times optical zoom. A little low on that, but it also has a 48 times digital zoom. So I think that's good enough to where it's not going to distort the image quality too bad, because when you get camcorders that are like 800 times zoom and you zoom in all the way, you can't even tell what you're even looking at. And if you've watched this channel for long enough, you know that high digital zoom just makes no sense to me. So 48 times digital zoom I think works great. Along with that, you do have a focus ring here and a zoom ring, and I find those actually it's responsive, but it's not touchy, if that makes sense. It's just nice and smooth when you use it. And like I said before, it does have a ND filter switch here. You got a 1, a 2, and wow, my voice cracked. You got a 1 and a 2, and off is at the bottom. Index marker up here, along with your focus switch here, so you can switch between manual and autofocus. And then you have push auto. So if you're in manual focus, you can push that and it will automatically focus and then go back into manual focus. You get your iris button here, so you can turn the manual iris on and off. It's kind of your exposure in a way. And then you got this wheel next to it that you can go up and down with the iris. Down along the bottom, you have your fader button, your black backlight button, and your spotlight button. So you can mess with all of those as you would need. You do got a little screen on the door, and you can use that to monitor how far you are along on the tape, along with your battery info. And you got a little push button here to pop the screen out, and you can open that up and your screen swivels nice, and it's nice and tight. It's not loose where it spins super easy, and you can just feel that this camera just feels new, I guess. On the left side of the screen though, you do have your LCD brightness up and down, along with your volume up and down for playback. On the inside, you have all of your playback functions and a few other little buttons here. In the little white box that says memory, that is for your memory stick duo for taking pictures. So that's all of your playback and selection functions for in that area. So you got play, index, delete, minus and plus, so up and down in the menu. And then memory mix. Not sure what that one does. I don't have a memory stick duo to test that out. You also have display on and off. You can push that to turn it on and off. You got data code, title, digital effects, menu, TC/U-bit. I'm honestly not sure what that is. And you got zebra, so you can have it off 70% and 100%, along with your reset button. But those are all the buttons in there. You do got a playback speaker here, this kind of D-shaped spot here with the dots, holes in the middle. On the back side, you got some more functions here. So you have your auto lock switch. So auto lock, it locks it into auto mode, and you can't play with any of the manual functions of the camera. In the middle is manual mode, so you can open up all of the manual functions of the camera. Along with that, you do got hold on the bottom, so all of your presets in manual mode, you can hold those, so when you turn the camera off and on, they will be saved and you can just start recording with the presets you already had saved, if that makes sense. Along with that, you do have a button for your audio levels, so you can actually monitor your audio, make sure that your mic is working and stuff. It'll show you what the audio is doing. And then you have gain, shutter speed, manual on off, white balance, and your AE shift, so your program button. Below that, you got a wheel. That's to adjust all of those buttons you have here, along with cycling through the menu, and it pushes in like a button, so you can select things in the menu and stuff like that. And then next to it, you have your memory stick duo slot here, so you can slide that in there, and you can use that to take pictures. Below the viewfinder, one thing about the viewfinder, I'm kind of an idiot, and I tore the eye cup on it a little bit, so there is a little bit of a hole there. Not very proud of that one, but it still works. I don't think there's a reason to get another one, at least yet, for it. And then you have your focus adjust here for your eyesight. And then there's another little button down here. You push it down and you can slide the viewfinder forward, and it will. You can take the magnifier off of the viewfinder, and then you can see the little TV screen. So if you're looking through the viewfinder and you see hairs and dust and stuff, you can take this off and take a little Q-tip and clean it out and stuff and get it looking good again. That way it's not distracting and stuff while you're trying to record using the viewfinder. On the right side of the viewfinder, you do got a battery release button, so you can push it down. It's pretty much the same as the VX2000. Push it down and then slide your battery up and out. And then when you want to put it back in, you start at the top of the battery compartment and then slide it down into place until it clicks. Along the right side of the camera, you got your traditional spot for your record button, your power switch to go to record mode or VCR mode. And then there's also a lock button to keep you from going from, so you can go into record mode and then down again, and it goes into picture mode. So if you don't want to accidentally go into picture mode, you can slide this little lever here that says lock, and it will lock it into, it'll keep you from going into picture mode. A nice little feature there. I know a lot of Sony camcorders actually have that little feature. And then you have your eject button here. Now this one's just like the VX2000 again. Tape compartment doesn't come up and then pop out, it just pops out. So it makes it easy because there's not a whole bunch of extra moving parts and stuff to eject the tape and stuff. So you don't have to worry about it getting jammed or anything like that. It won't wear out as fast. So that's actually really nice. And then you have a push button. With the push button, the tape door won't actually close unless you push that push button. It kind of pushes a little locking mechanism into place. But you do have these little rubber compartments here. There's 2 of them. And you have your headphone jack plug-in so you can monitor your audio. That's the green one. And then the blue one here is your LANC or your wired remote plug-in. So that's where that little wired remote that I was talking about would plug into, and then you can actually use it kind of from afar to zoom and record and stuff like that. So I'll have to test that out. I haven't tested it out yet, and that kind of sounds interesting. I don't know how long the cable actually is. The next one over is your audio video out sources. So you do have S-Video along with your full 3 yellow, white, and red RCA component plugins. And then at the bottom, you have your Firewire. Up on top, you do got a record button here, secondary record button, just like the Sony VX2000. You got your rocker zoom right here, very similar to the VX2000 as well, along with the picture button to take pictures. You do got a little switch up here on the handle to switch the zoom speed on the rocker zoom up on the handle from high, low, and you can turn it off. And then you also have a third record button, and this is the first time I've ever seen a third record button on a camcorder before, so that's actually very handy. Along with that, you also have a cold shoe mount as well, so you can mount like lights. You also have your tally lamp here up on the front, along with a infrared receiver here on the front and on the back, and it has a preset button here to be able to select your presets. Up on the handle, you do have this little screw here to unscrew the bracket and then be able to pull off your XLR mic, and some little, I don't even know what they're called, like little holding spots for access wire. You can kind of tidy up the XLR audio cable, and then the XLR audio plugs in here on the side. And then on the left side, you can mess with input 1 and input 2, and you can choose channel 1, channel 2. You can choose the input levels. You can choose between line, mic, and mic attachment. And then the plus 48 volt for the phantom power. You can have that on and off, and then the same thing for input 2. Below the handle, right in the middle, is your playback functions. Again, just like the Sony VX2000 or 2100. So you got slow motion, so if you're watching playback, you can push slow and it'll kind of have a frame by frame slow motion that you can watch while in playback. You have record, so you can have audio video sources as an in-source, and then you can record footage to a tape, and that's how you would record that way, along with audio dub, stop, rewind, play, fast forward, and pause, and I believe that is all the features on this camera, at least physically. I'll give you a couple of my opinions on this camera. It looks extremely similar to a Sony VX2000 or 2100. I keep saying that throughout this entire video because it really is just, the body is the exact same. All the features are the exact same. It's just a little bit of a different color. The Sony PD170 is also exactly the same body style. It's nice that they have the same body styles, but I don't know, they're just, they're a little bit different cameras, different capabilities. I guess this would just be considered the pro version of the VX2000 and 2100, and I guess those cameras would be like the prosumer models or the consumer models. The other thing that I don't really care for is the XLR audio. Of course, XLR audio is amazing and great, but that's the only audio system that you get on this. There's no onboard mic. There's no external mic plug-in for it if you want to run like a shotgun mic or something. There's nothing like that. All you get is XLR and that's it. Of course, it's nice, but you don't have any other options. If you buy one of these secondhand from eBay, you either got to make sure it comes with a mic or you have to buy an aftermarket XLR mic for it as well. So that's just kind of a pain. Plus, when you go to store it, you have to take the whole mic system off because it makes it so bulky that you can't put it in a bag. So every time you want to start recording, you got to set up your mic, and then once you're done, you have to take it all apart and put it in your bag and then put your camera away. So I find that kind of annoying, and it's not as quick of a setup as it would be if you just had a onboard mic with it as well. That's kind of my gripe on it, is it doesn't have an onboard mic, a built-in mic on it as well, or at least a external mic plug-in for like a shotgun mic, a powered microphone. All you get is XLR. I think it's really cool that it has 3 different record buttons on it. You got the one up on top of the handle, one on the body up here, and then the one back here for when you are filming handheld like this. So there's not a way that you would be able to miss a shot. There's a record button everywhere on this camera, and you're guaranteed to be able to record something. And if one of them breaks or something, you know, you got 2 extras. So that's super nice. The thing is I don't really see what people like so much about this camera. Like I keep saying, it's just a VX2000 or 2100 with XLR audio only. The video quality is better, yes, but I think if you want to save some money and you don't want to buy a camera that has so much bulkiness to it, you can go with a VX2000 or 2100. But if you do want better audio quality like the XLR audio, you can go with a PD150 or a 170. Kind of just depends on what you want, because you're really not getting any extra features with it that is already with the VX2000 and 2100. So those are just some of my opinions on it. Cool camera, not much else going on with it besides the XLR than a VX2000 or 2100. So if you want to buy this camera, I will have it listed up on my eBay store. It will come with the camera, obviously, this lens hood, the other lens hood that I was talking about, all the accessories that I was talking about. It'll come with the mic and the dead cat, along with the foam piece as well with it, and everything that you need to start recording except for a tape. It won't come with a tape. If you need a tape, I will leave a link in the description for a mini DV tape if you need one. And along with that, if you have one of these cameras for yourself already, I will leave links to batteries, chargers, mini DV tapes, video converters, fisheye, wind sock things for it, XLR mics, and any other kind of accessories that will be able to upgrade your camera and make it work better, or if it's just missing some kind of a part. Check the description for those links if you need those. So that about wraps it up. Let's check out some of the video footage that comes out of this guy, shall we? Where'd he go? So I thank y'all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like it. And if you enjoy the content, make sure you subscribe, because we talk about old school retro camcorders almost on a weekly basis. And on that note, we'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.